Hello guys, I'm Arivok and I'm gonna talk about my first solo project, Belore. It's a new black metal atmospheric and epic one-man band from France, as you can hear with my great accent. I released my first album this January with Northern Silence Production, was called Journey Through Mountains and Valleys. This album is inspired by bands like Summoning, Caladan Brood, Sorrow, Emmanuel, Moonsorrow, as well as various heroic fantasy and medieval worlds. I take a lot of time for myself, reading, playing video games, watching TV movies, series and documentaries, working on new song for Belore, doing gym in my living room to keep in shape, and work from home when I have to do. I really like to have all this time for me, but I miss working in nature, mountains, and having sport activities because I practice medieval combat, so it's impossible for me to keep training without outdoor access. I live really close to one of the biggest French medical infection centers, directed by Professor Raoult, for those who know him. So we have thousands of people every day in the neighborhood waiting to be tested. So I go out only every 8 or 10 days, maybe to buy some food and a lot of red wine and beer, but I have to be very careful. Concerning the pandemic, as a vegetarian, I noticed that we could avoid a lot of those kind of problems. Not by forcing people to become vegan or vegetarian, but simply in educate them to consume most responsibly and not eating shit hiding behind the old tradition. This album is like a journey into forgotten lands. Each title tells a story with landscape, magic and medieval history. It's a world I completely invented, where the nature has a prominent place, making it the main character. I paid a lot of attention to the production. I wanted it to be powerful enough while keeping all the sounds as reminiscence of some influences of the 19th without falling into the trap of a raw mix. So you will find different atmospheres into the world album. It was a complicated task. I tried to create a little and original story for every track who can be understood and helpful to immerse the listener into the music. So I talk about a conflict between an army of rebels and a royal government, also of a man who seeks knowledge through the hardest and isolated mountains of the country, or the initiation ritual of a young druid into a lost forest. But all those stories take place in the same and big medieval universe I have, for the moment, only in my mind. The cover art photography was taken by the talented Céline Ducretet. This mountain is placed in the Cifre à Cheval in Haute-Savoie, in France. I fell in love with the atmosphere and the perfect symmetry you have between the mountain, the rocks and the tree at the first plan. Concerning the logo, I asked to the amazing Claudine Cax, who also works with those other bands and some French and Swiss festivals, doing a wonderful job. So I invite you to check the work of those both talented artists. The cooperation with Northern Silence is going very well. Torsten, director of the label, is a truly passionate guy, and I thank him to believing in my project. It's really important to have a label if you want to share your music all around the world, especially if it's your first album and no one knows you. The label job is to estampillate a seal of approval on your music and use his network to diffuse it where alone you will never do. Um, a lot of people discovered the Belore because it was a Northern Silence release at the first place. So yes, it's important for me to have a label, especially those days because of the amount of new bands you have on internet every week. It's hard to make room without this help. My main band as a live bassist is Dark and Old. It's been now 11 years. I played with them and it's an amazing experience. We don't have an enormous number of shows every year, but we had the chance to play on great festivals in France, like the Hellfest, the Canonos Pagan Festival in Paris, or the Forest Fest in Switzerland. About Dark Canal, it's a black metal band influenced by bands like Satyricon, Dimmu Borgir, Emperor, but only the old ones in the middle of the 90s, nothing recent. Um, I have our third album in vinyl edition here, and we actually working on our fifth album with the French label Les Acteurs de l'Ombre, and hope for release in November this year. Yeah, I really appreciate the last album of Kamfar, Ophidian's Manifest. The whole album is really powerful, melodic, well composed, and mixed. The guitar parts are imposing as the voice. My favorite track is Eremit because of the middle part where I can feel influences of Ennio Morricone, the Western movie composer. On the black metal song, I think it's amazing. Um, I also love the last Finster Force, therefore, with a lot of Moonsorrow influences. This is my favorite band, uh, so it's normal. The last song is a little bit too long for me, 36 minutes, but the whole album is epic and catchy. I'm actually still working on Belore, on a second album. I already start to compose thanks to the containment. I also want to release one day some merchandising, vinyl edition, t-shirts, but nothing concrete for the moment. It depends of many things, so I can't tell more now. Well, thanks to Antichrist magazine for this interview. If you just discovered the Belore, I hope you will like the album. Do not hesitate to follow me on the Facebook page to keep in touch with the future of the project. Thanks, Guy, and stay safe.